I'm on a set of Generation Iron, and I'm taking my new favorite supplement, Game Face. I used to take Alpha Brain, but it's twice as strong, and I'm a big nootropic guy, and I need it when I do films like this. So, like me, I think you should get your Game Face on. What the hell is going on? It looks dark in here. I don't know why. Whatever. The cameraman, I am not. Just obviously, you guys probably laugh because I know some of you fucking guys say shit, but this is, because I'm doing this with an old camera. It's 20 years old. I'm not doing this with no iPhone or any of that shit, and you have no idea. But anyway, how you guys doing? Alright. Listen, I'm wearing the old sweater. Okay, I've been doing this a lot lately. First of all, I just did a video for Joe Pietaro Muscle Sport Mag. It's called, it says it's about Arnold's training secrets, okay? And, so you can go over there at Muscle Sport Mag TV. I think it is, or Muscle Sport TV, you'll see it. Look for me. And I did one on Arnold's secrets. And I've been wearing this sweater because it's fucking cold out here, bro. I mean, it's very cold. I'm in New York, and it's, aside from savages running around this goddamn city, this cold. And, I don't know. I would have sweater to do the other shows. I'm not going to take this off of this. It's old school, bro. You see it? Look, old school. Something like something your grandmother would knit, But it's warm. And I got the beads on. So, alright. Enough of that shit. Yeah, so I did a thing, about Arnold. There people, because I talked about Arnold, and I've been in the gym with Arnold. I have not trained with Arnold. I never trained with him, so nobody's saying that, okay? And I've never sat and talked to Arnold about training. I did watch him, though, when he was training. You're talking like 1980, 81, 82, like that. I used to go to World's Gym, okay? And he would be in World's Gym in the morning. So I'd see him training, and, okay, I know some of you are going to bitch, but I'm going to say it again, because there's some of you that haven't heard it, so I'm going to say it. I went up to him the first time I saw him training. I had already met him before, but this is when I'm in the gym now. I met him in 1976 for the first time, but that's neither here nor there. I met him here in New York. But when I was in Worlds, I saw him training. He was doing the cable rows, and I walked over and I said, "Arnold, oh my God, I can't believe I see you." And he goes to me, "Don't get so emotional," So I just thought, and that just made my day, and it was, But then I saw him every day, and in the gym, and I know Arnold. We're not friends. We're not training partners. I just know, and I know his son Patrick, Joe Pietaro, and I met Patrick. Well, I hung out with Patrick a little bit. I got Patrick to kiss my girlfriend for her birthday, because it happened to be my girlfriend's birthday when we saw him. We were in a restaurant, so we saw him in a restaurant, and we knew each other already, and Arnold was actually there. This was in Ohio, and Arnold was in the restaurant, and I was in the bathroom with Arnold, and, that's when I was with the guy from Iron Mag Labs, and I punked him, big time, because, he was, like, tapping Arnold in the back. I'm with Gregg Valentino. I'm with Greg. Arnold's over there. Me and Arnold are washing our hands at the sink in the bathroom, right? And, I said to Arnold, "Listen," he just washed his hands, and he's wiping his hands on your back, because he kept going like this on Arnold's back, right? And Arnold turns around, and he kind of got upset a little bit really fast. And the guy got mad at me. It's the guy who, I don't remember his name. He does all the chemicals for Iron Mag Labs. He's their chemist guy, whatever. He's not a bad guy, but he got a little mad at me because I said that about Arnold and stuff. I said to Arnold that he's wiping his hands on your back, and then Arnold and I are talking for a second. He said to Arnold, "Can I get a picture taken with you?" And Arnold said, "Yeah, sure." So he went in to get his camera, and Arnold goes to me, "Let's get out of here." So we left. We left him there, which made him even more mad at me. And when we were out in the restaurant part, I was sitting with Arnold for a minute, and I said, "Where's Patrick?" And Patrick had just been coming from. And he came over, and he goes, "Here, he's right here, Patrick." He goes, "Patrick, come here." And we sat and we talked, because I knew Patrick. From a while ago. I've met him. I know him since he was a kid. But anyway, so my girlfriend's birthday, I said, "Come here, let's go, he had to go to the bathroom. So he said, listen, I said, I got to talk to, my girlfriend loves you, can you give her a kiss? It's her birthday. And he said, sure, let me go to the bathroom. When I come out, I'll give, so I said to my girlfriend, come here, I got to go to the bathroom. She says, again? And I said, yeah, come with me. So I come over there as I come out of the bathroom, because I knew he was coming out. I said, Patrick's, this is my girlfriend. So he comes over to my girlfriend. He said, happy birthday, this, that, the other thing. And he kisses her, and she sits there like, remember Ralph Cramden and, you young guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Remember in The Honeymooners? When Kenny Corey apple and Ralph was just standing there all frozen. Hey, come on, Ralph, Kenny Corey an apple. Zip, zip, zip. Remember he like froze? Chef of the Future, that shit. Well, that was my girlfriend. She froze. And I'm like, what, talk to Pat, say thank you. You know what I mean? And she's like, thank you. And she was like frozen, So I'm like, oh, look at you. You got a big mouth. I finally, because she loves him. She thinks he's all hot and everything. And he's a good kid, he was, talking with her and everything, but she won't talk back, she'll just give yes, no answers. You ever see somebody, when you watch an interview on TV and they're, the interviewer's talking to him, so tell me about what happened here, and they're like, nothing really happened. And you're like, talk, talk, Anyway, so, she has a big mouth only with me. Anyway, so that's that. So people ask me, what is Arnold like? And you want to know what Arnold's like? I hate his politics. I don't like his politics. I feel like he's, I feel like he's a kind of a rhino. He's a Republican in the name only. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says with that. I do think he tells you what you want to hear. I think he's worried about political correctness and wokeness. Whatever. I do feel like he's like that. But what's he like as a man? He's a good guy. Okay? And the reason why I tell you that is too because Leon Brown, who was one of the best bodybuilders, man, he beat Franco Columbu, he beat all these guys. You could Google Leon Brown. He was the guy if you get the book Pumping Iron, he's in the beginning of the book. With his back. He had the back with all the apples and shit, Leon was a very close friend of mine, and actually, we did an interview with Leon one time, and I got the tapes, man. I got to put them together, but it was an unbelievable interview, and he was telling some of the greatest Arnold stories, but he used to say that, first of all, Arnold never forgot him. One time we were in a diner here in New York, and it was a very cold day. It was like January of, I don't know, maybe 2007, something, I don't know, it was a long time ago, and it was Arnold. Arnold called Leon on the phone. He called him. He's like, oh, God, look who it is. Leon's like, look. And he gets the phone, and it's Arnold. And Arnold never forgot Leon. And Leon is he's a national treasure, a bodybuilding national treasure, an icon. The guy's phenomenal. And, that's the guy I told you about that he beat Franco, and they all used to train together. Him, Arnold, Franco were training partners, and for 6 months, 8 months, a year, or whatever it was, Franco wouldn't talk to him. They'd be training together, and Franco would just ignore him. We'd sit there, and he would hit his turn to go. He'd put the weights on, and he would never say a word. And Leon's totally non-confrontational. If you know Leon Brown, and there's a lot of New York bodybuilders that know Leon Brown. He's a good, God rest his soul. He died just before Bob Bonham, and it's funny because I think I told you this. Bob, he hung himself, but I didn't want to say anything to Bob because Bob was telling me goodbye, basically. I didn't want to tell him Leon just died, you know what I mean? Because Bob's talking about killing himself. It was just a bad situation, but I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about Arnold. So Arnold's a really good guy. Arnold does look out for his friends. Arnold is a guy that you would want to be friends with because he does. He looks out for his friends. He doesn't backstab his friends, okay? When it comes to maybe him getting to the top, like in the movie I said, you got to be able to fuck a few friends over and everything like that. Step on a few fingers, fuck a few friends over. And that was from Bigger, Stronger, Faster. The reason why, what I meant was that's like, getting in the movie industry, you gotta climb to the top of the mountain. Sometimes you gotta eat a few of the friggin', a few of the goats are on the way up, you know what I mean? So, that's what I meant. But as a man, he genuinely loved Franco, which, I had a million run-ins with that guy, but I don't know, I don't know. I guess if there was something there. Maybe they're both European because he has that European thinking. But I don't know how anybody could that guy forget about it. But regardless, anyway, he was, but Leon was the greatest stories, bro. The greatest stories, and I got them. I got them on tape with Leon talking about him. And even, how they did the movie Stay Hungry, and how Arnold fell into all that stuff, and, it was just, it was all just really cool. I mean, Leon was the first one that Arnold met, the first bodybuilder. Arnold just came over here, and the day he came over here, they brought Arnold to, like, Muscle Beach and stuff, and, Leon was, playing chess. They used to play chess and checkers and all that shit out there on the beach. And Leon's like, who the hell is that guy? Look at him. And one of Weeder's guys say, oh, that's Arnold. That's that new kid. His name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then Arnold came over, he heard him, and Arnold's like shaking his hand, and they just became instant friends. And then from that day, they started training together. He would tell me that Arnold would bang on his door at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Get up, let's go to the gym, and Leon would be like, oh my God, because Leon liked to tie one on, you know what I'm saying? He liked to have a little, like to have a little bit of the spirits, let's just say, But, Babanya in a bottle, Leon liked to drink. But, yeah, so, I mean, Leon was a drinker. And he said, sometimes I'd still be fucking, like, hungover from the night before and have freaking banging on that door. Let's go, come on. Arnold would walk right in his house, And then they went to, after training, because Arnold didn't like to train with food in his stomach because Arnold would yak, you know what I mean? Now I'm the opposite. I can't train with an empty stomach. If I have an empty stomach, nausea just piles in there. And I'm not talking about hunger pains. I'm talking about actual nausea. Because I train really hard. I train at a fast pace. And if that empty stomach is there, whew, man, I feel like shit, And so I go the opposite way. I got to have food in my stomach. I could have a banquet meal and have the greatest workout. Fat doesn't affect me. I'd say 50% of the people out there like me, and 50% of the people like Arnold, like the Barbarian Brothers. They had a little bit of food in their stomach, it winds up on the gym floor. You know what I'm talking about? I've seen him barf a few times, the Barbarian Brothers. One time I saw them, one of them was drinking a big gallon jug, okay? It looked like chocolate milk. He's like, blah, 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 like this. And the next thing I know, he barfed it all over the floor. And I remember I was standing, it was right by the counter, the front counter, but it was off to the side of the front counter, towards where what's his name's office was, Gronkowski's office, and next thing I know, I look and I see the jug, and I just want to see what it was. Maybe there was booze, and there wasn't. It was carob, C-A-R-O-B, carob flavored milk, which is like this, almost like a natural chocolate type, artificial chocolate flavor, whatever, and it was milk, it was carob milk. So he barfed that shit all over the floor, man, and I told you one time I brought a girl, or a little Mexican girl, she was with me, and man, he barfed it, hit her feet. She was standing right there, and it hit her feet, and she got so scared she ran out of the gym, never saw me again. And there's a long story to that. There's a whole story, but I'm not going to sit here and... You guys might have read about it in Muscular Development when I wrote The Rambling Freak, but she was scared of him because he would scream, and I'd be like, don't worry about it, they're fine, just stay with me. And, she wasn't even really into working out. She was more or less hanging out with me. You know what I mean? And we would go in and she'd scream, and she was so scared of them, because they'd smack each other. You know what I mean? And they'd scream, and it carried on this whole big boo-ha, And you had Dean Tornabene walking around. Let's go! You know what I mean? Like, and it was crazy. And then one got up, and she went over. She's like, I need a drink. I said, go ahead, get a drink. And son of a bitch. One of the brothers got up, I don't remember, it was Peter or David, I guess, you're talking 1981, and he went over there and went to go, because there was a little bathroom downstairs, there's a water fountain and a bathroom right there downstairs. You people have been in Gold's Gym, you know what I'm talking about. He went to run towards that bathroom, and he didn't make it. And right around where that water fountain was, he hit that, and barf went all over the place, and he hit her sneakers, and she just said to me, oh, man, and got the hell out of there. But it was the last I saw of her. I still got pictures of her, and I'm not showing you guys. Although I'd love to see where I'd love to find her and see what she's doing in life, you know, because she was like, my God, maybe 18, 19, I think 18 years old at the time. This is 1981. She'd be an old lady now, because I'm old. Yeah, because I was older than her, you know. My birthday's in August, and I wasn't even 21 yet. This was like maybe April, you know what I mean, something like that, in 81. And so I was still 20. I wasn't 21 yet, you know. And she was 18. She's about 2 years younger than me. So if I'm going to be 63 in August, so if I'm 63, if I'm going to be 63, that means, I don't remember when her birthday is, but that means she's somewhere around 60, you know. She was a Mexican girl. So now I got another Mexican, but mine's young. But we're 16, because 17 years is going to, right now actually it's going to be in another 2 weeks. Anyway, so how the fuck did I get on all this? I'm supposed to be talking about Arnold, right? Holy rambling freak, man. So anyway, so Arnold would go over there and wake up Leon, and then they'd go over to the Germans. That's the club. That's the name of the restaurant. They used to call it the Germans. I don't know if that's the real name, but they all called it the Germans because it was run by Germans, you know. And Arnold loved pancakes. I think they were his favorite food. So he would eat pancakes. He'd eat a burger, like a plain burger without bun or anything. Like he called that steak. Whenever you hear, sometimes he'd say, I ate a steak. He didn't eat steak. He meant like a big, they would take a burger. So they would eat steak and eggs with pancakes. That was his, he loved pancakes. So he would eat the eggs with the steak, which was really just a giant hamburger patty, which is basically beef, you know. He would eat that, you know. They'd relax. They'd go to the beach, you know, and then they'd go back at night sometimes, you know. And Leon loved him, and he loved Leon, and he's very good. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I got a million stories, but I've been sitting there all day, and I know you want to hear them, and I will. Maybe I'll even. I gotta get the footage. Listen, I'm barbaric, bro. If I had somebody working with me that, you know, like all these other guys, they have people filming this shit and helping them and, you know, edit. Some do it themselves, but, you know, they're really good ones. You know, even Dave has people that, you know, edit shit and do this stuff. You know, you can, you know, I could have somebody else do it and make a nice video, and, you know, but me to do it myself, it could take me a year to do that. You know, you have no idea. I'm operating on, I gotta convert this file here. This is MOD, I think. Something like that. I gotta convert it to an AVI, then use Windows Movie Maker to cut the damn thing up, then put it back in it, you know, put it all together. And, you know, I have to actually delete the whole file, then bring it back, and that's how it goes, because it won't go if I don't delete it. It's the stupidest thing. It's so stupid, you have no idea, because they don't really use Windows Movie Maker. So I gotta do the Windows Movie Maker. I gotta delete it, bring it back, then put it in a converter once it's all done, right? Then put it in a converter, you know, save it in Windows Movie Maker. To save it, I have to delete it. And then, I know it doesn't make sense, but trust me. And then I got to put it in a converter and convert it to an MP4. And when I put it in an MP4, then, you know, it's just stupid, bro. It takes me a long time to do this shit. You have no idea. That's part of the reason why, you know, my video's a little slow. Because I'm over here, like, I'm working with, like, I'm like the Flintstones, man. I'm working with, like, sticks and rocks and stuff over here, you know. So, you know. But if I ever played the videos of Leon telling the stories and how then a whole, you know, stay hungry and all that shit, and how they would go get drugs, you know, they would go on, like, you know, Arnold knew some nurse, and then, like, you know, they would go, like, you know, every Wednesday or something like that. You know, I don't remember the day. I'd have to watch the video to remember the day. But doesn't matter whether it's Wednesday or Tuesday. They knew that this nurse, you know, she worked. They would go to this clinic, and she would get them all the steroids, and, you know what I mean? She was in love with Arnold, and Arnold would flirt with her, and she'd give him all kinds of extra steroids and shit. And then he said that they would all pile into the Volkswagen, and a few times Arnold would come out, and a cop would give him a ticket. Right? And Arnold would just say, just tell them, get in the car, get in the car. And they get in the car, and they just drive off, so the cop couldn't put the ticket on the window. You know what I mean? He would drive off, and they said that Arnold would, Arnold would drive like an absolute maniac around that, that Muscle Rock where they all stand on that freaking hill and all that and they pose. He said Arnold would drive up around those mountains that are over there. And Leon told me that he would actually be praying, please, Arnold, please stop, And Arnold would laugh, ha ha, and Franco would be egging him on, go faster, you know what I mean? And he said, they're in a fucking Volkswagen. He said, if, and Leon's in the back, and he's like, bro, they crash, we're dead, you know what I mean? But Arnold would take off on the cops all the time. If a cop pulled him over, he'd bullshit the cop, and when the cop would go back to the car to write the ticket, Arnold would take off. He was nuts like that, Leon's got the best stories, but, again, we talked about this, I don't know, it was 2006, 2007, it was a long time ago. You're talking, it's a couple of years, it's going to be 20 years ago. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. That's why I need the game face. Yes, put your game face on, right? This helps your memory. And, this is not a pre-workout. It's a fucking helps the babanya, the brain. It helps the cabezo there. The babanya. The babanya means, it's like Italian slang for drugs. But it's not a pre-workout. Okay, so I don't think it's a pre-workout. It builds up. It takes time. You don't just take it and all of a sudden you're a genius. Because if that was the case, I'd be the smartest guy in the world. And I'm not. But I do take it. It does help. And it's like Prevagen and all that shit, but way stronger. Like Joe Rogan likes that alpha brain shit. It's much stronger. Okay. I don't own a company, so fuck you if you think I'm trying to push supplements. My friend owns the company. Okay? And it's really good. He made it for Alzheimer's. So if you got somebody's a little chigad, or maybe afraid to be a little chigad, that's your shit right there, bro. Way stronger than alpha brain. Anyway, forget about that shit. So Arnold was a good guy. And I know that everybody that knew him personally, that knew him on a personal basis, they all loved him. Every one of them. I never heard anybody say anything bad about Arnold as a person. Now, his politics and what he does, in the media, I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. And, he's definitely a little teeny bit of wokeness and a little bit of a rhino when it comes to Republicans, you know what I mean? But he's like, that's typical Hollywood. I think that shit, living in California and being in Hollywood too, I think that shit goes to the cabezo. You know what I mean? They get a little wacky. So, all right. I'll be right back.
I grew up reading Muscular Development.
Listen,
they told it to you straight. Gregg Valentino told it to you straight. Remember that dude?
Oh yeah.
Arms?
Well, he inject synthol in his arms, make them like balloons. Yeah.
Fucked up, but he would tell you the real.
Yeah, come on, Greg.
This video here, you gotta watch it. So if you're only listening to this, quickly watch this, because it's my girlfriend. She's in the gym and she doesn't work out, she's just playing around, but she's got like a mask on and she's doing tricep presses over her head. She doesn't know I'm filming her. She got a jacket on and everything. She don't work out. She's a momo. Her idea of working out's walking around the mall shopping. But anyway, that's my girlfriend doing the triceps. I had to film it. She looks so cute. No. So before I get to the next level here of what I'm going to do, which I don't even know yet, but before I get to the next level, I just want to say that, when we do the after-hour show, let me just talk about the after-hours for a minute. First of all, before we do the show, we sit and we talk, all right? We all talk. Half the time, the best... You've heard Dave say this, you heard John Romano say this. The best stuff sometimes we talk about is before the show. We always say, man, if we could just record... Sometimes Dave says, save that, don't say anything, save it. We'll use it during the show. So sometimes, some of that stuff is like, kind of, we know what's going to come up and everything, We discuss some of those things because there's things that we can't talk about. Not that we don't want to, or not. I'm not afraid to talk about anything, but Well, hello, you know what I mean? Like, YouTube will put the kibosh. They'll put the kibosh to the whole channel and then you're done. You know? Like that friggin' thing with the tranny thing that they posted, and they called it it's not my girlfriend. It's just, forget, I don't want to get into that. That was funny. But they put the title, to the video, because I was trying to make a point. That not all trannies are like, what you see, the blue-haired things that are screaming in the media. There's people that live out there that nobody knows on a DL, right, And I'm against all that, turning kids into girls and boys into girls and girls into boys. I'm against all that shit, so simmer down. But there are legitimate people out there that, have the mental illness thing, whatever you want to call it, that makes them that way. They're not man-made by their parents and shit, or by some school teacher. But here's my point. So I was trying to make that point, and that's why Dave put up the thing. And then Dave put up this, on a video, it said, Valentino's girlfriend. Or something, no, yeah, wait, Valentino's dream girl. And then he wrote, ... guy. And I told him, dude, you realize that if YouTube, when they get around to that, and if somebody complains, the word guy is going to make them, because today you can't say shit. They'll come over there and take the channel right down, So he got scared and he took the word guy out of it. It was a point I was trying to make. It doesn't mean that it wasn't my girlfriend. Well, you guys are crazy, man. You guys are all crazy. And I'm totally against, taking some... Dude, when I was 5 years old, I had no idea what gender meant or any of that stuff. All I knew is I thought my sister had the same equipment I did. I didn't know. My parents never showered us to get... I just thought that, if you would have said to me, what's the difference between a boy and a girl when I was 5 years old, I'd say, boys have short hair and play with, baseballs and trucks and footballs, and girls have long hair and they play with dolls, you know what I mean? And an easy bake oven or whatever. I didn't know but what the fuck, you don't know, you know what I mean? I didn't know anything like that. Who knew, I didn't even know. I was like in 7th grade when I found out that my old man, put the, they did the hibbity-dibbity there to have children. And, I remember my friend telling me about that. I'm like, my father would never do that to my mother. That's disgusting. And then I went home and asked my mother. And my mother goes, go ask your father. So I went to ask my father, and my father goes, go ask your mother. And I'm like, oh, come on. And then finally they're like, look, yes, that's how babies are made. And I'm like, what? Because my friend told me, like, how do you think your parents made you? And I was like, I don't know, my dad kissed my mom, and they had, then you come out of their belly, but I didn't know you come out of vagina. I'm like, I came out of what? Wait, I came out of where? I wasn't in, that's disgusting. In my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, holy God, I think you're 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old. At this time I was in 7th grade. I think it was sixth grade maybe, but I had no idea, because we didn't talk about this in the 1960s and shit, and nobody talked about that. I didn't tell kids about that, you know what I mean? I was more worried about what was on the cartoons and stuff after school. I wasn't talking about, but this guy was a little bit older than me, and he was telling me this stuff, and, I asked my mother, and I told my, when the guy said, well, how do you think you were made, and I said, my mom kissed my dad, and he's like, do you kiss your mom? And I said, yeah, and he goes, well, did she have your baby? I said, no, and he goes, well, obviously, kissing your mom's not how babies are born, So that's how I found out. But today, these kids are 5 years old already know, well, you go in there, you spakim, you wear a rubber, you do. And I'm like, whoa, how do you know all that, Anyway, so, we talk about all these crazy things on After Hours. And the Leo thing, the Leo longevity, Leo Rex. And it's only huge. I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. I know some of you are going to go against me and don't want to hear it, but you're out of your minds. Tony Hughes did not murder friggin' Leo Rex. You're out of your minds with that. You're out of your mind. First of all, why was his pants off? Why was he wearing clothes on his bottom? Some guy decided to murder him and then pull his pants down? Huh? What are you talking about? Oh no, it's one of those lady boys or girls. Get out of here with that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. What was he doing taking apart the toilet? There was tools in there. So Dave Palumbo's theory of him stepping on the toilet to get into that window that's like a foot by 8 inches or whatever, like who's going to fit through that? My girlfriend's skinny, but she can't fit through that. But You know, he knocked over the toilet. No, he didn't. He had tools in there. What was he doing? Why was he taking this away? Because, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, these guys were all messing around with head drugs, you know, and I don't know, you seen a demon come up out of the floor, you know, and, you know, one of the guys on the show was even saying he took the drug and he seen demons and he was coming up from, you know, he was like floating on a cloud and they're coming up from the ground, you know. So, you know, maybe he was in bed, he was flipping out, you know, sleeping, you know, he sleeps maybe in the nude with just a t-shirt on or in his undies, you know, whatever. Sees a demon coming up at him, he's like, I'm going to kill that thing and I'm going to go, you know, take the toilet off and you're going to go down in the pipe to get it or whatever, you know, in your mind. You hit your head, you fall. Oh, but what about the puddle of blood? My mother died in a puddle of blood, okay? My mother died from pancreas cancer and it exploded in her when she was in my house, in a room I'm sitting in. Right there. I'm pointing at the spot where my mother died. Long time ago, guys. It's almost 30 years. But regardless, you know, her insides exploded and, you know, my father was holding her, trying to bring her to the bathroom. Everything came out. So what I'm trying to say is a pool of blood don't mean anything. And the guy was laying there for at least a day or so till they found him. So I don't want to hear any of this shit. You guys, what bothers me the most about that, I don't care if you would think he was more murder, whatever. I don't care. Okay, but what bothers me is that too many of you people want that to be the case. Like you love it. It almost turns you on that that's the case. It almost like, oh yeah, he was murdered. What a juicy story. You know, you don't want to hear a story about maybe somebody that was tripping really bad and saw pink elephants and shit like that, or like, you know, a demon come up in that toilet, so you do crazy things and you hit your head, you fall face first, smash your face on a marble countertop, and it hit your face again a second time when you hit the floor. You don't want to hear that. That's not juicy. That's, that's a drug thing, okay? But my friend, I have a friend, the same thing happened. He was behind the bathroom door. We couldn't open up the bathroom door. He OD'd. Okay? I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. Okay? I'm telling you. You people that want that to be true, it's almost like you get mad that I'm offering a different thing or saying, I know Tony Huge. I know Leo. Okay? I know both of them. I talked to Leo just about 2 weeks before that happened. Okay? I just talked to him, and I talk to Tony all the time. I'm telling you, you're nuts, all right? Stop that. That's not good to wish juicy shit like that. That's not good, okay? Rest in peace, Leo. I don't care if he was nasty to people, whatever. Everybody's nasty. You know how many guys on this, how many pro bodybuilders, if you met them in person, you'd be, you suck. Yeah, how many of them? There's a lot of them that suck. They're not such nice guys, okay? There's a lot of them, trust me. I've been around all that shit. The old school guys anyway. Not the real old school guys. Most of those guys were cool. But, you know, you're talking about guys from, like, the 90s and shit like that. A lot of them suck. You know? Leo had demons. That's all I know. He had his own personal demons. Let him rest in peace. Just wish his soul good luck, you know? And there's people who don't like the fact that I say, he's a good guy or he's a good guy. Because I try to give everybody I'm not one of these people. I don't live miserable like a lot of you people. You know what I mean? I don't wish bad on anybody. On anybody. I don't wish bad. I don't. You know? I'm not a miserable person, and I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You know how many people talk shit about me? There's whole articles. Man, his arms exploded. He got all that synthol. Yeah, one arm was like a balloon. The other arm didn't look like that, but one arm, you know, it's because I'm not going to get into it, but whatever. I don't even care. I mean, that shit was 1999. I haven't looked like that. You've seen me. I don't look like that. But whatever, okay? Whatever. My God in heaven. But to be so miserable that you gotta wish that, like, you love that, oh yeah, he was murdered, you know, and then there's videos all over the internet with all these people saying how he was murdered and accusing somebody who you give me proof. You give me proof and then I'll buy into it. But without proof, you shouldn't say shit. You know? I mean, come on, man. You know? I don't like that stuff. But anyway, I'm talking about this because this is after-hours stuff, you know, and I know I'm sometimes a lone wolf there, but Lee Priest agreed with me. Lee Priest got on that show and said, stop talking about that stuff. Stop it. Stop talking about he's murdered, this, that. Stop talking about it. So, Lee Priest, who's my brother anyway, okay, Lee's my boy. Oh, all right, Lee Priest has my love and my respect always. So does Dave and John and, all the other guys and Jimmy. Dave, John Romano, myself, Jimmy the Bull, us guys, even George. Us guys been around a long time knowing each other. I mean, I know them guys almost 30 years. Jimmy the Bull I met, in 1991. So it's over 30 years. Dave and John, I mean, we worked together for years, and we, that whole After Hours started out in Muscular Development magazine as the Muscle Mob, which was me, John Romano, and Dave. Okay, the three of us. We were all there. And we did that, we did the podcast first for Steve Blackman, and then they left, and I still was with Muscular Development, and Jimmy would come on, was part of us, and then when we did live shows, George and his brother, okay? So, I'm just telling you, we've all been together. There's no disrespect. I know some of you people, Valentino, you talk over everybody. Listen to me. You guys with that, you talk over everybody shit. I don't hear somebody, it's not like I hear somebody, saying, yeah, some of those guys talk low and they just talk like this and stuff. So I don't hear it. Do you understand? I stop if I hear them. Sometimes Mr. G will be saying something, and I'll start saying, and I'll stop, and I'll wait till he's done, or John. But sometimes I don't hear it, okay? So I just blurt out. If I hear something like, yeah, Ray Rex was killed by Tony Hughes, I'm like, no. I'm not like trying to talk over this guy or talk over that guy. I don't hear it. I love those guys. Those are my brothers. They know already. They know. But show me you guys. Oh, my God. Pull your panties up. Come on. Stop that shit. I just, I don't understand the whole, some of you guys, like, you love the misery, my God. Anyway, so that's the After Hours thing. That's me talking over people and everything. I don't do that purposely. And it's not, and Dave should mute him. Dave's not going to mute me. He knows, you know what I mean? I'm one of the guys there, I'm one of his big guys that draws. I sit here and I talk. You put your comments down in this video and I talk to you. You know that. I talk to everybody here. The haters, the guys who like to make jokes. You understand? The other guys who hate my guts. But talk to everybody. I talk to them, I'm one of the few people that you can go on the internet and watch a video with me in there. And I get on the internet later, and whatever you say about me, I'll put my 2 cents in. Sometimes I don't get mad. I don't say anything fucked up. But I'm trying to challenge everybody. Yeah, come here and say it to my face. I don't do that kind of stuff. But, I'll say stuff to the haters and stuff. Now, usually I mess back with them. They'll say, Valentino sucks. I'll say, yeah, he does. We should throw him off the show. You know what I mean? I don't care. Don't let anything bother me. But I interact with you guys. I interact with you guys. I answer your questions. And I interact with all you guys. Right? I interact with you guys. So, how many guys do that? How many times you see Dave in the comments, or John, or Jimmy the Bull, or any of those guys, George, Armand, Johnny Bravo, Richard, any of the guys that are on that show, you don't see any of them. I'm the only one that interacts with everybody, even on my thing. Joe Pietaro sometimes will interact, on Muscle Sport Mag, but I interact with everybody there. I interact with everybody on my channel. Everybody, I interact with you guys, okay? I feel like if you're going to give me the support, and even the haters, by clicking on a video, listen, if I hated somebody, I wouldn't even give them a click. I would not watch that video. Never. I wouldn't give you the decency of having me click on your video so you get a hit for that. All right? Oh. What I do is I say, if you're going to give me a click and a hit and you put a comment down, the least I can do is acknowledge you and give you a comment back. Now, if you comment on a video that I put up 3 weeks ago and there's already a new video, sometimes I don't always see that. I'm working on the new video stuff, so sometimes I don't see your comment that you put, that you just, you put it today on a video I did a month ago. I don't see, sometimes I don't see it, sometimes I do, and I'll still answer it, Anyway, so, that's the name of that. I was going to tell a story. I think I'm going to do it maybe next week. A Ray Menser story, another Ray Menser story. Good one, a really good one. But, anyway, I just want to finish with a little bit more Arnold stuff because I'm thinking about Leon, and Leon is such a great guy, and he told me so much cool Arnold stuff. Like, sometimes Arnold would mess around with Franco. You know what I mean? If and he would do things like if Franco was benching, he'd put like a 5 on the other side. You know what I mean? And Franco would be like doing the benching, and he'd be because it throws you off. There's a little bit of weight. That's happened to all of us, by the way. You know what I mean? By accident. You know what I mean? Like the leg press. I've done the leg press where I'm doing a leg press, and I have a certain amount of plates on each side. Like, I'll take 3 plates and do 100 on each side, right? And I'll do 100 non-stop reps with that. And I won't realize that there's somebody left a plate on the top. Like, because there's also a top bar, and I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. Because it's behind the plate, and there's a top, and I don't see it. And I'm like, why does this feel so heavy and I can't get to 100? I'm up to 80 and I'm ready to shit my pants, and I'm like, dude, this is 20 reps less than I'm normally going to get. You know what I'm saying? How could that be? Why is it, and then I get up and I'm like, mother, and I see that there's a plate on there, and I'm like, man, So, but Arnold used to do stuff like that. He liked to mess with Franco because he loved him. Not to screw him up, because he loved him. All right? Arnold genuinely loved Franco. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a fact. And Leon always talked about, Leon loved Franco. Leon didn't hate anybody. Franco, after a while, got over all that stuff with Leon, about, Leon beating him. But Arnold used to amp that shit up and always tell, look, hey, Franco, look, there's Leon. Leon's coming in the gym right now, Leon, you remember Leon, he beat you in a MR.World, or it would be the other way around. Franco would be coming in and he'd go, hey, come on, come over here, train with Franco, we're over here, me and Leon. You remember Leon, he beat you, and he used to do that all the time. Leon would just laugh, you know what I mean? But Franco would get like steaming about it. But Arnold was a prankster. Somebody asked me recently, who is the greatest prankster of all the bodybuilders and stuff? And it was Arnold. Dude, Arnold would walk in the gym and go, whoa, like that, and everybody go, hey, Arnold, and they couldn't wait to see him because he was like, he brought energy into the gym because he would be fucking around with people saying stuff, you know what I mean? He would dare you to do certain weights, and, he was funny like that. He would secretly throw 2.5 on a side or a 5 on a side when somebody was doing something, like so-and-so squatting, watch this, I'm going to walk over, I'm going to put like a 5 or 2.5, and they come in and they'd be like, where did that 5 come from? Like the guy would do it and look over, because if the balance is a little off, and you look, and, it was Arnold, and Arnold would never say anything, and they, everybody kind of knew, it would be Arnold and stuff, and Arnold was a prankster, and he would, and they would go to parties, and Arnold drank 1 beer. He would drink a beer, but he would only drink 1. Leon would say, and Leon used to say, Arnold was the first guy to get to the party, and he was the first guy to leave, because Arnold couldn't stay up real late. He just didn't have it in him. He was an early sleeper and and an early riser. So, he would say that Arnold was the first one at the party, and that's why it would kill Leon, because Leon would like to get it, tie one on, you know what I'm saying, and, that's the way it was. And I asked Leon, did Arnold smoke pot? And he said, no, he didn't smoke no pot back then. That was all for the movie, you know what I mean? He's saying it's not that Arnold would be against it. He just, Arnold liked to live kind of a clean life. That's why I said he would only drink 1 beer. He said that Arnold, he had never seen Arnold drunk. That doesn't mean that Arnold didn't, tie one on once in a while, but according to him, no. You know what I'm saying? And, I know that Arnold did like Prima bowling. Arnold did like deep balls. He did take a lot of deep balls, when he was younger. There are stories, we don't know if they're true or not. Leon doesn't know if they're true, because supposedly when he was in Austria, he one time was taking like 100 deep balls a day, but I don't believe any of that. Leon said he doesn't believe it either. Okay, but I know that he really liked Prima bowling a lot. What else? All the stuff about Arnold, like, squatting in the woods and doing all that crazy stuff. A lot of that stuff is all boo-ha, you know what I mean? About Arnold's father dying, and he was like, he's dead, what am I going to do? All that stuff is BS, He said that, too, that Arnold, really looked up to, his older brother had passed away, and, Arnold would talk about him, and, Gerhard, Gerhard, and he was a great athlete, and that, Arnold wasn't the athlete he was, and his father would tell him, like, put them two out, like, like, put some boxing gloves on both of them, and Gerhard would beat the shit out of Arnold all the time. You know what I mean? That's why Arnold got into bodybuilding, because he wanted to do something, that Gerhard wasn't a bodybuilder, but he was great at every sport, great at soccer, great, he was great at everything he played, And Arnold kind of idolized his older brother, but his older brother was crazy, and I think he liked to tie one on too. So maybe that's why Arnold didn't drink. Like I know that Donald Trump didn't drink. Donald Trump never drank. You know that, right? He doesn't. He goes to all these, big meetings and stuff, and all these business meetings. He never drank. He never drank his life, because his older brother died from drinking, and his older brother, before he died, grabbed Donald Trump, slammed him up against a wall, and told him, "Listen to me. If I ever find out that you even take a drink, I'll kick your goddamn ass. Do you understand me?" And Trump looked up to his brother, and he wound up dying from that. So Trump never drank, and that's a true story. My sister's husband is one of Trump's personal security guys over there. So, on a property where he lived here in New York. He works with Eric Trump mostly. But, Donald, I can picture my sister with Donald, all that stuff for years. Way before he was president, back when he was doing a reality star, even before reality star stuff, when he's just a businessman in New York. But, it's neither here nor there. I know some of you hate Trump. Whatever, get over that stuff. Get that out of your brain. But the thing is, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw a correlation. I'm not here to talk about Trump. I'm trying to draw a correlation how, like, Trump's brother was always like this big tough guy, whereas Donald was not. Donald looked up to. Well, it's the same thing with Arnold. Arnold looked up to his brother Gerhard, and his father was kind of a little bit brutal. He liked it. I think he liked it. He's got his jollies out of seeing Gerhard, who was his first son. My firstborn, beat the shit out of his little brother. And he used to say, well, when you could learn to beat the shit out of your brother yourself, and you could beat up Gerhard on your own, then maybe you'll do this. But I'm not helping you out. Let him knock you out. He was like that, So, Leon was with Arnold every day, And, again, I was with Leon many times. I told you, one time we were in a restaurant. Arnold called him on his cell phone. Another time, we were at the Arnold Classic, and Arnold was walking through, and he had security. This is when he was a governor, and he had all, like, security guys with him and everything, and he told the security, "Stop, get him over there." And I was sitting with a bunch of people, and Leon was one of them, and they went and they got Leon, and Leon walked around with Arnold and everything. He loved him. And I respect that. I respect a guy who's loyal to his friends. I respect that. You have no idea. I respect that in Arnold. I like the fact that Arnold was loyal to his friends. Again, I don't like his politics. Growing up, he was my favorite bodybuilder of all time. Danny Padilla also was, but I mean, like, for different reasons, I'm 5'6". Danny Padilla's like 5'2", 5'3", whatever he is. But I like that. I like that whole giant killer. I love Danny Padilla's physique. You know what I mean? But Arnold, I mean, who didn't love Arnold? I mean, I loved everything about Arnold. The Arnold that I've met, he does have a really witty personality. The way you see him when he's doing interviews on TV and everything else is pretty much the way he is legit in real life. So he's like that. He's a fun guy. He's all right. He's charismatic. So he's good. He was a good man. But Leon's stories, to stay hungry, how that movie happened, and all. I'll have to get that story to you. I got the videos I got to watch. Just, again, they're long, and sometimes I get certain stories mixed up in my head. You know what I mean? With that, when it comes to that, because I wasn't there. And that was told to me by Leon. Leon was in that movie as well. When you see this, the bus going down the street, Leon was on the top of the bus, I think. Was one of them. He was on that bus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the movie Stay Hungry. Simmer down. All right, listen to me. We're going to do more stuff. I got a good story coming for you. I got the Ray Mensa story coming. Then I'm going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to do the mother-in-law stories. My mother-in-law is insane. Since, I mean, it might be 10 years or 7, 8 years, maybe since I told the last mother-in-law story. So since then, she's had a gazillion different issues, you know what I mean? Because she's crazy, and she thinks differently, remember, she's from Mexico, so she has a whole different thought process, She goes back and forth. She was just on the phone with my girlfriend. So I think she's coming over this week. Anyway, so we'll find out. I'll tell you some great ones. There's like 4 or 5 that stand out. But then you narrow it down like 2 or 3, and there's 1 or 2 that are absolutely, positively crazy. And even when I bring it up to my girlfriend, she just shakes her head. So we'll get those to you. All right. I want you to guys, thank you for, put down your comments, questions. I love questions, bro. You want to talk to me? Put down a comment. I'll talk back to you. You know what I mean? We'll interact. Just always remember, life is it's a gift. You know what I mean? We're lucky to be here. And remember, there's people out there. So all you people are really depressed and want to kill yourself. There's people like my sister who did everything she could to live. She would have traded places with you any day. Hey, you take this terrible cancer that I have, and let me take your life. People that take their lives and kill themselves because they're depressed, you don't know there's somebody out there living in a cage somewhere in friggin' some bad country, or living in a mud house and, would do anything to switch with you, or somebody that's laying in bed riddled with cancer that would trade places with you in a second, in a hot split second. You don't know what real fear and real trauma is. That's in your cabezal, okay? Which is bad. But there's people who out there who are really in bad shape. So things ain't as bad as you think. Get over it. Get your shit together. If you're on fucking these Oxycontins or any fentanyl, any of that shit, get the fuck off that shit. You don't need that shit. And I don't believe in head meds, too, because everybody I know that was on head meds gets fucked bad, and you become dependent on it. I have a friend, he's on Lexapro. If he tries to stop Lexapro for a minute, he's fucked up. He can't. Said he feels like he's falling off a cliff. It's bad, bro. I would never want to live like that. So if you're on that shit, get off. And listen to me. Be good to your kids. Be good to your girl, whatever. If you're a fucking guy that touches your girlfriend, hits her, or do any of that shit, don't ever watch my videos again. I have no respect. You're not a man. If you don't take care of your kids, I don't care if your wife has a new husband, new boyfriend, whatever. You still got to give the money. One day you're going to be the kid's hero. Even if she spends it on her new man. Pay child support. I did. Okay? Be good to your girl. Be good to your wife. Be good to your significant other. And stop fucking around. Get your shit together. Okay? Before I send your matarats to your house. You don't want that. You definitely don't want that. It'll kick you right in the gagoots. I love you guys. See you in the next video.